Segmentations are like living plants. It begins as a seed full of potential, but it needs care and attention to grow into something meaningful. Just like how a plant draws nutrients from the soil, a segmentation thrives on rich, accurate data. Sunlight and water, also known as good stakeholder management, time, and the ability to integrate with additional internal data and tools help it grow strong and healthy within the organisation. A segmentation isn't a fake plant that you put on the side in a folder and let it do its thing. Segmentation is Boxclever's bread and butter. We have a long history of working with a mix of clients to create and bring segmentations to life. Clients often come to us saying their previous segmentations are unwieldy or have failed to land in a business, and they want to know how other clients use their segmentation. And how do they ensure that a segmentation drives action and change within the organisation? Without the right care and attention, a segmentation can very easily become a dried up shrub or end up like one of those fake versions that you could argue don't offer too much. I'm not going to go into the intricacies of how we build a segmentation today. What I would like to do is share with you the journey we've been on with Rachel Condon, the Insight Lead at the NSPCC, and how we've worked hard to ensure that their segmentation is a living plant. So in 2022, the NSPCC were using a hybrid version of several pieces of audience work to help target people who may engage with the NSPCC across fundraising, behaviour change campaigns and support services. However, against a backdrop of overall deterioration in trust in national charities, a declining regular giving and volunteering across the UK and the pressures of the cost of living, they acknowledged a need to really understand people's attitudes and behaviour to supporting charities. Another complicating factor for the NSPCC was that the segmentation they had done previously hadn't been well received internally due to a lack of socialisation, but also because of technical challenges with recreating segments in media planning tools. These issues meant that there was a high degree of scepticism and resistance to developing a new segmentation because nobody really believed that it would deliver what was needed for them. An essential component of this project was going to be how NSPCC embedded the segmentation within the organisation, but also making sure it worked for media planning. So with quite a challenge on our hands, we worked closely with the NSPCC to develop an attitudinal market segmentation to help teams across the charity understand their current and potential target audiences. We really challenged stakeholders to really determine what the overriding objective of the segmentation was, and ultimately it needed to reveal opportunities for the NSPCC to inspire different segments to give either money, time or influence, and how to do it. With actual limited time and money, we needed to make sure the segmentation was focused on delivering clarity to the organisation and that it worked for every team, including marketing, communications, innovation and fundraising. Our philosophy for segmentations at Boxclever is that there is no black box or right answer to a segmentation. From an analytical perspective, we have a best practice approach that provides guidance. However, what truly matters is whether the proposed segmentation makes sense, is it intuitive, and does it inspire action within your organisation? Our point of view on all segmentations is that the segments always need to be differentiating, sizable, targetable, intuitive, and that the organisation has a right to win with at least one of the segments. As I'm sure lots of you will know from working in client-side organisations, particularly those with a long history, it can be like moving an oak tree when you want to do something new. So the success of this segmentation began long before the technical element of it even began. The project started with a range of stakeholder interviews with everyone who would be directly or indirectly impacted. And by posing the question, is what you have now working? Rachel also listened very carefully to people's concerns, and we captured them through the stakeholder interviews and workshop, where everyone came to a consensus about what the new segmentation would need to include or not include to be successful. Identifying which stakeholders were going to be our champions and who were going to be our blockers was vital to this project. This meant that Rachel knew who she needed to convince, and if we reached a sticking point in any of the group workshops, we could either use champions to help push things forward or take the conversation out of the meeting into a separate one-to-one discussion so we could keep the project on track and address individual concerns in more depth. It was really important that we made sure everyone went on the whole journey in building the actual segments with regular check-ins and input right from the start, when we were developing the survey through to a series of stakeholder workshops where we could immerse ourselves in the segments that had come out of the analysis. By doing this and not just having some big reveal at the end, we had real buy-in and investment across the organisation. We got to our agreed segmentation solution. The workshop element was incredibly important. The aim was to immerse senior stakeholders in the segments, but more importantly, get them thinking about what they meant to their teams. Rather than just taking people through reams of data, we took them through various interactive activities. Knowing the personalities in the room, we used a mix of group and individual tasks to ensure that everyone had a voice and felt like they could input. By the end of the session, we reached a consensus on which segments would make most sense for NSPCC to target, and through creative exercises and problem solving, stakeholders had brainstormed a number of short and long-term ideas to help the NSPCC meet the needs of each segment, and most importantly, encourage them to support the NSPCC through time, money, or influence. Our final segmentation solution for the NSPCC had 4 segments, and the decision was made to prioritise exchange seekers and better tomorrow builders. Better tomorrow builders are where NSPCC's current supporters over-index. Their attitude to supporting charities is focused on making the world a better place. They think the planet and humanity's problems should be prevented before they arise, and that there's a need to plug a gap that the government can't fill. Exchange seekers, on the other hand, tend to be younger people. They're all about reciprocation and seek something in return for supporting a charity and really want to understand how it benefits them or can make them feel good about themselves. You can't put a plant on a shelf and just leave it there, and the same goes for segmentation. Once the final solution was agreed, we had to make sure that the NSPCC could use it alongside the other tools available to them. Mosaic, their internal database, and media data, for example. Thinking about how to do this at the start of the process and getting media agencies involved when the survey is being written is key to ensuring that they can use it later on. So hopefully that gives you a sense of the journey we've been on with the NSPCC segmentation. To finish, we'd like to leave you with our 3 big learnings. Bring stakeholders on the journey from the outset and really understand who your champions and potential blockers are. Helping everyone feel part of what's been created can be a huge help in making sure it lands well. Choose the seeds of your plant together. 2, make it work for the people who are going to use it. Start with a philosophy that has got to be practical and understandable to everyone in the organisation, but needs an overarching objective to work towards. Make sure you choose the right place for your plant and nurture it. And finally, creating the segmentation is just the start of the journey. Research like this has the potential to add value to so many aspects of the organisation. It's an ongoing process, and that's absolutely okay. Keep an eye on your plant and it will be your reliable companion for years to come. Segmentation done the right way can be a fantastic force of growth that everyone can get behind in an organisation. It can deliver a deep understanding of customers, help you design products and services to meet their needs, create more effective marketing, and most importantly, do this better than competitors.